Okay, we'll be quick. Okay, welcome back to the main auditorium. Hope you all had wonderful breakout sessions. I joined to myself and learned a lot, enjoyed the process, and hope that you all did too. So what we wanted to do before dinner is just spend a little bit of time just hearing from everybody about what it is that they just key takeaways from today. What did you hear? What did you learn? What are you excited about? We'll do a quick line ourselves. We'll give you a little bit of time to think, and yeah, and then we'll go from there.
Cool. Yeah, I promise I want to be closer, but don't want to blow your eardrums out. Today was, I think I explained it in one of our breakouts, almost meant to be like painfully deep down in the weeds, because I think that's where we're gonna unstick some of the stickiest issues. And so for me, quite a few takeaways. I think the main one that kept coming up across the conversations was the idea of holistic, integrated, and intersectional funding, that we are understanding that communities that have historically been marginalized are still struggling to meet basic needs around water quality and broadband access. And with a tremendous opportunity and funding window that we're looking at right now, what a missed opportunity if we're not also providing funding and making available some of those wins for communities in also pursuing some of those large infrastructure dollars. The other thing that I'm taking away, and I'm not going to define this for you, but somebody mentioned, and it was a brilliant idea for me, community development often looks like a C. The accountability is what completes the circle. And so I'm taking that with me moving forward.
Yes, and I am just really like taking away how much everybody has a role to play in this. And so not only is it a multi-sectoral conversation, but we are basically the longest running relay race of like handoffs, like baton, baton, baton. And so knowing what everyone is doing and what everyone's gifts are, and then being able to share those gifts with each other in this critical moment so that we could really invest in deep partnership is one of the most critical takeaways of today. So we are actually going to open it up to have you guys share. And I know we are the one thing between, I'm always the thing between the meals. So I am gonna see if there are any volunteers. Yes, Moises up in the middle. Please stand up.
Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Oh, you're still awake. Okay, cool. Cool. Moises Bueno Rivera, Assistant Secretary for Equity and Environmental Justice at Resources Agency. Thank you, Rohan, for the reminder in the morning. So in the morning, we heard a quote, or was quoting someone from the morning that said, the only way to justice is through change. And then throughout the day, what I've been keep on hearing is, so all of this needs to change. And in the last breakout session that I was in, someone mentioned these three words that they usually assess government funding. Are you doing this practice because it's the rule, because it's codified in statute? Are you doing this because it's a tradition? You've traditionally done this way, and you've traditionally interpreted that statute to be that way? Or is it a habit from that program manager? And is it that habit that needs to change, right? So the rules, traditions, and habits. And then one of my other persons in the panel said, well, do those rules also need to change? And so really taking away that if we're really being serious about achieving justice is really fine-tuning of revisiting rules, traditions, and habits.
Great, thank you. Do we have another volunteer that would like to share their wisdoms for today? If not, I have the love. Oh, great, wonderful.
Awesome. So coming from a state funder financer perspective, something I was reminded of today is how important it is that we're thinking about the communities that we are working alongside and what their next step is. So what the next resource is that we should be thinking about, and making sure we're aligning our resource with theirs. Kind of harkens back to the strategic foresight we were working on earlier today. So just using that to anticipate and build alignment for this long game of systematic change that we're building towards when we think about climate and community development.
Great, thank you. And now I'd love to hear from a non-state government worker, although we know government is on its way to transforming with all the amazing nuggets you guys are taking away. So a non-state government person. Yes.
I want to speak as a community advocate and private sector. We discussed today with several of my panels. I'm actually want to say thank you for this organization to put this together. It opened my eyes, connected me with people that otherwise I would have never been able to meet and connect. So the relationship building that I take in today from here is priceless. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, SGC. And I'm noting
With that
too.
said, my comment is, I'm taking away the ability to share that sometimes less red tapes, less oversight, and more speed to market to share those grants and your dollars with a little bit more agility is what community needs. So hopefully that goes all the way to the governor's office and we can build good projects for our communities so we can serve. Thank you so much for putting this together. Whoever it is, staff, thank you. We really appreciate it.
I'm just gonna end there. That was the loveliest closing we've ever heard. Oh, sorry, one more person.
Hauka, my name is Emily Bergania. I'm Kumiai. I was curious, and I wanted to ask it earlier, but I didn't get a chance. Is there any tribal government officials in the room? One. So hearing in the beginning of this conference, listing tribal governments, and at the top was confusing for me because we only have one here. And they're the decision makers at the end of the day for our nations. I'm thankful to the Climate Science Alliance for inviting me here today. They know the work I do and the knowledge I have, and that's because of how I was raised and what we were able to obtain despite the systematic genocides over time in California. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. Please mention that to Governor Newsom, that there was one tribal official. And I did see your guys's setup outside where it mentioned a Southern California collaborative. So I'm interested about that and why that wasn't utilized, you know, to bring folks here today. Or maybe that was, I don't know, but that's a very important key, right? When doing this work, because like Shasta mentioned earlier, it's all stolen land. So just no matter what work field you guys are in, you're working, you're operating, you're benefiting on stolen lands. So just consider including the homeland communities in which you have the privilege of doing the work you are facilitating on. And then just to the importance of community advocates and leaders, right, like myself, alongside tribal government officials. Because when you are a government official of any kind, it gets political. So including that voice and then including the community, as we've heard all day today, just wanted to highlight that's also key within Native, Indigenous, whatever title you prefer to use, communities. So thank you.
Well, I just want to say, always, how much courage does it always take to raise your hand in the room and say what's not here, who's not here, who should be here? So a lot of recognition about constantly asking that question. And then also really stepping up in our allyship. Like if we didn't end this day with saying like, how do we be better so that the burden isn't always, again, on our communities, right, who need to be heard. So just want to recognize you and thank you for saying that. And then again, I'll pass it over to Kieran, but unless there's one additional comment, oh, we got one more from our esteemed council member. Oh, so sorry.
I don't need it. I serve the economic development director for. I serve as the economic development director for Torres Martinez. We're located next to the Salton Sea. We're next to the lithium, largest deposits possibly in the world. We're working on Salton Sea restoration. Here's my request. This organization has done a great job. It's a good beginning. This is just a beginning. To the point that was made earlier, I am humbled to serve for a great sovereign set of nations. You should hold the next meeting in Coachella. You should hold the next meeting possibly next to the Salton Sea. If the Coachella festival can happen there, I'm sure that you guys can happen there.
Yes, and please invite us all to it. We get an invitation, right? All of us here. Oh, great. One more person. Thank you.
My name's Ozzy Bouquet Akaba, and I'm with the Bay Area Air Quality Management. And a couple of things I walked away from today was, they were talking about equity and resilience, sustainability, but in the session that I went to this afternoon, one young lady mentioned humility. And so I never heard that at a conference or a science conference or anything. And it just kind of resonated with me. Like, yeah, humility. Like, we have all these people who are considered experts. At my agency, they consider themselves experts. That was part of white supremacy, experts. They're bringing humility to the forum, whatever work that we're doing. That makes the difference. So I'm grateful to SGC invited me in, and I'm grateful for all the experts. I mean, not experts, but people who came.
Yeah, gratitude and humility absolutely are the cornerstones of building trust and building readiness and capacity. And so we are grateful to all of you, and we're grateful to, again, SGC for your intentional approach to being able to do government different by lifting up community voice. So now who's hungry? Kieran?
Oh, just one
Oh.
other thing. Just really want to express gratitude for the comments and the feedback. I think when we hear directly from you, that shapes our priority, that shapes our agenda, that shapes what we're going to be spending our time working on. And I think it also just continues to provide us feedback as we're thinking about the next convenings and how to continue this movement, this conversation, and the role that we can play in doing that. So thank you for the honesty and the transparency and the candidness. It's what we need to be able to solve these incredible problems that we face, and also to really identify the incredible opportunities that we see. And so, now the day is coming to an end. We have a little bit more that Kieran will talk to you about, but wanted to share just a little bit of a preview into what's happening tomorrow. So today was really focused on community readiness, and then tomorrow is going to be really thinking about taking ideas to scale. So how do we take what's working? How do we identify obstacles and continue the conversation from today? And think about what do we need to change, fix, use to be able to take these solutions and bring them to a scale that's going to really meet the need and the urgency and the time frame that we're facing. So really excited to continue the discussions tomorrow. And with that, I'll hand it over to Kieran.
Love it. If we thought today was generative and all those conversations were helping us solve really entrenched issues, imagine what we're going to be able to do with a full belly and a glass of wine in about 30 minutes. So real quick, our dinner is scheduled for 5:30 at the California State Museum, which is just 2 blocks down this way. And what you'll need is your badge to get in. And then other than that, thank you all so much for your time today. And then we'll see you in a little bit over there. Maybe walk as a big group and take a chance to meet somebody you haven't met yet today.
Well, and actually, I would say, raise your hand if you're a California native. Sorry, raise your hand if you're a Sacramento resident. Okay. All right. And so you know where the museum is. Now raise your hand if you're not from Sacramento. Okay. So like the first group, find a friend in the second group and make sure that they get to dinner, wine, and all the fun. All right. Thanks, guys.